Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Most revered Swamiji is in front of me, my very dear Sri S. Gurumurti, Sri Tirupur Krishnan, my very dear brothers and sisters. Till now, we have been enjoying the wonderful speech by Sri Gurumurti ji on relevance of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna to today's life, and from Sri Tirupur Krishnan what we can learn from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. In the meanwhile, we had a very interesting program of presenting this Vivekananda Vidya Prashasti to Dr. Atmakur Ramanaya. It was a wonderful thing that he has produced a doctorate on the humanism of Swami Vivekananda for the first time in Telugu, and his degree is from Madras University, not from Andhra University. So Vivekananda is applied, is revered everywhere. He doesn't require any particular state. You can be anywhere. If you are Vivekanandite, you will be loved by everybody. You will rise to the highest. I am reminded of a small incident in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna had a boyhood friend. He was called Gaya Vishnu. Sri Ramakrishna was very intimate with this friend in Kamarpukur. Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna came away to Calcutta and became a Paramahamsa. Gaya Vishnu remained as a householder. He had a child. The child was about 6 or 7 years old. And this child, he wanted to be blessed by his friend Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So he brought the child from Kamarpukur to Dakshineshwar and presented this child. Gadadhar, his old name, Sri Ramakrishna's old name, as Gaya Vishnu knew was Gadadhar, this is my son, you please bless him. You are now a Paramahamsa. If you bless, the boy will progress well. He asked for one blessing. Sri Ramakrishna gave 2 blessings. He said, Dirghayu ho, Pandit ho. You become long-lived, and then you become a great scholar. Sri Ramakrishna's blessings are there. So Ramanaya has been blessed. Pandit ho, become a scholar. He has become a scholar. The other one also, we all pray, will become true. Let him live long and be an example to all the people that are there. It is not the position that you hold or the name and fame that you have that counts. It is the inner stuff, the dedication to a cause. So his wonderful cause of studying Vivekananda deeply has brought him to this level, and I always believe this is only the beginning. More yet is yet to come. May Sri Ramakrishna's greatest blessings be upon him all through his life and all his also. So after having these few words, so let me come to the last speech of the day. It will be only, should be short, because we have got Sri Ramakrishna's Artikam at 6:30. Anything else you can push. Here you cannot push this prayer of Sri Ramakrishna beyond the 6:30 line. So it is already 5 minutes to 6. I will be trying to be brief and close it much before the prayer time, so that you can all go there. So we have heard the beautiful lecture of Ramakrishna's relevance to today's life and about what we can learn from Sri Ramakrishna by the two speakers. Yes, it is true. Sri Ramakrishna has given us a greatest teaching of him. That is, he has pointed out again and again in his Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna that the human life has a goal. This is the one thing all our educationists are unaware of today. They are all aware of a degree or a diploma or something else, a sort of an intellectual thing. But there is a goal for human life as it is. Each man has a goal to achieve. That almost all of our scholars, educationists, and the other so-called leaders in society have forgotten. Sri Ramakrishna harps on this only. Whoever goes to him, whether he is a student, whether he is a householder, or whether he is a brahmachari or a Swami, rich man or poor man, the question often asked by him is, what do you think is the goal of life? Fantastic. We ask this question to so many. Nobody has an answer for it. And Sri Ramakrishna himself answers. The answer that what should be the goal of life is that Ishwar Sakshatkar, the realization of God. Realizing God as we see the world as a reality, we must be able to have God as such a reality. We must feel that God also is there in our heart, in our house, in our society, everywhere He is there. We must have this realization. God must become a reality to us. So which only, what was Sri Ramakrishna's God? So we think as soon as we say God, we Hindus, we think that He is a Krishna or He is Shiva or He is Kali or Jagadamba in so many forms. And sometimes we think He is the light, He is Brahman. We have our own way of thinking. Other religious people also have their own. So they have their own imaginations. But Sri Ramakrishna's God is a universal God. He says, God is Satchidananda. God is infinite life. Sat means ever existing. God is infinite life. God is infinite knowledge. God is infinite joy and bliss. This is what Sri Ramakrishna's God is. Who would not like to have this God? All the people of all religions, of all sects, anywhere in the world, want only this. The three only goals for which we struggle. We work hard from morning till evening, whether in the modern age or in the olden age, are only for these three things only. We want to live long. How long? Sri Ramakrishna says you can live eternally if you realize God. Later on we will realize that God and our own soul are not different. So we can realize that we are eternal. But we are struggling for 100 years of life. So we go to this doctor, we go to that person who gives some massage and other thing. What for? Live long. Prolong our life. So to live long is the great desire of every human being. But we do not know that we can live eternally. Sri Ramakrishna reminds us. However much medicines you take, however tonics you may have, however much you may go to any gym and physical exercises you may do, you will not live beyond 100 years. Will you go for that? Or do you want to live eternally? Alternative, Sri Ramakrishna says. He says in his conclusion, I know you cannot say I don't want to live in this body for 100 years. You live. But after that, don't you want to live? Yes, we want. Then come to God. So if you hold on to God, you will live here also 100 years. But that also gracefully, honorably, and very respected way. And simultaneously, you will be preparing for your eternal life also. So Sri Ramakrishna says, in the life we struggle for long life and joys. How long a man enjoys the sense enjoyments, whatever and also the name and fame, etc. And how much of our glory as a people of knowledge, as a professor or a scholar or a well-known speaker, how long can it continue? Can it continue beyond our death? Everything has a short span of 100 years. So everything in this world seems to be ending up with just 100 years. Sri Ramakrishna reminds us of the ephemeralness, the transitoriness of this world, and he doesn't dissuade you from leading a good worldly life. Be aware of this. The truth is there. If you are not aware of it, The truth is not in any way suffer, it will not suffer. It is we who suffer. We did not know for hundreds of years until Louis Pasteur came that there are microbes in the air which are causing sepsism. So when the operations are done, septic conditions come and people used to die. The reason was there are microbes in the air, people did not know. Louis Pasteur found it out. Then they started sterilizing all the instruments, sterilizing all the cotton, sterilizing everything that is used in the operation theatre, and every operation is a success. Until then, operation means death. There is a fact that the microbes are there in the air that we did not know. The microbes were not affected, but we paid by thousands of lives for that. God is there, He is a truth. If we know, we enjoy, we are the benefiters. If we do not, God is not in any way troubled about it. It is we who suffer. So Sri Ramakrishna holds before us the ideal of God realization. That is, become yourself the Atman. You are the Paramatma Himself. God Himself is there in you, in your heart. What we call as I. When this I disappears, we find God alone is there. And God is infinite life, infinite knowledge and power, infinite bliss and joy. This is Sri Ramakrishna. God realization is the goal of every human life. Now the question comes, can we all realize God? He is telling to everybody. When you see the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the varieties of persons that went to Sri Ramakrishna was simply amazing. The deputy magistrates go, highly qualified university professors go, young people go, and then men go, women go, and uneducated rustic people also go. Every type people approach him. To all of them he say, you can realize God, you should realize God. And then the question arises, can all realize God? Sri Ramakrishna said an emphatic yes. Everyone can realize God. Not only did he say, he showed in his life. Just those people who have read the life of Sri Ramakrishna in detail, how many disciples he has made, and his disciples are from every caste, from every religion, several belonging to different races, and to men, to women. He never differentiated between men or women. To everybody he gave out of the bounty of his spiritual knowledge. So he proved that everyone can realize God. Everyone only requires a good guidance, a good guru, and he should practice sincerely what the guru says. And for this one, there are always gurus in this world, especially in this great country of Bharat. There has been no paucity of gurus. There are paucity of disciples, as we are today seeing in our society. Gurus are there, but proper disciples are not there to take up and practice and verify the truths that the gurus teach. Sri Ramakrishna disciples, when you see, as I said, there were men, there were women, there were monastics, there were non-monastics, there were householders. Every one of them gets a glimpse of God. Some of them become highly spiritual persons. So this is the way Sri Ramakrishna proves that this sort of a superstition that women cannot attain high position in spiritual life, or such and such a caste cannot, such and such a creed cannot, such and such a race cannot. All is superstition. Sri Ramakrishna blasted all these superstition, opened the floodgates of this infinite life, infinite knowledge and infinite bliss to everyone. The method, he said, he has taught is the easiest that you can think of. He said, can you weep for God as a child weeps for its hiding mother? The child does not see the mother who is hiding. So he weeps with all his heart, puts all his energy into his weeping, and the mother appears before him. Can you weep for God like this? Sri Ramakrishna asks. This is the essence of all Vedanta. In Vedanta they say, what is required for realization of spiritual truth? The highest spiritual truth is mumukshutva. desire for moksha, desire for realization. Sri Ramakrishna puts it in such a simple way. Can you cry for God? Yearning to Vyakulata. In Bengali, he says Vyakulata is heartfelt yearning. If we can weep for God, we can certainly realize God. And realizing God, we get all that we want, the life endless, the bliss endless, the knowledge endless, and power endless. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna has given to the modern world. We are groping. Sri Ramakrishna never went to a school, demonstrating the school books and the syllabus can never give you real spirituality. Spirituality should be cultivated. It is a different discipline. Each in our scriptures has been called as Paravidya. It is a superior education. The realization of one's own spiritual nature, personality, is a superior education. So it's called Paravidya. And the other education that we are getting, the education of subjects, humanities, and technological other details, all this education pertains to the lower education, not the higher education, highest education. The lower one must lead to the higher one. This is what Swami Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Sri Ramakrishna never deprecated anything. He was a prophet of positivism. Always his statements are positive. So he used to say that you become a scholar, but never a dry scholar. You must practice what you speak. Suppose you speak about spirituality, you must practice spiritual disciplines. You must be a practical person who lives what you speak. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Otherwise, he used to compare the mere scholars without mere scholars about especially the spiritual matters. People talking high of Bhagavatam or Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita without imbibing the teachings in their life and leading a life according to it. So Sri Ramakrishna used to compare such pandits to vultures. Vultures soar high in the sky, but they are looking down at the lowest pit on the earth where the dead carcasses are lying, and it would swoop down to pick up those carcasses. So he used to compare these pandits who do not have renunciation, who have not given up their selfish desires for name and fame, and yet pose themselves as great pandits of Bhagavata and scripture. He used to compare them to this one. So we want knowledge of the world also, but this knowledge of the world must help us to realize our inner potential, that we have an infinite life, infinite joy, and infinite power and knowledge. We must manifest that also. Sri Ramakrishna therefore taught us that these things do not lie in the books. These lie in bringing into practice in our life. We have to cultivate these values of life. Values of life he valued most was the truthfulness, as our Krishnan has told, Krishnan has told you already. Truthfulness he valued as the greatest value. He said, if you are truthful in this Kali Yuga, you have done all the tapasya. A person who is practicing truthfulness, he is already sitting on the lap of God, he said. So the practice of truthfulness is the tapasya for the Kali Yuga, he said. And that is what we are missing in our life, and we are paying very heavily for it. What we call as corruption, what we call as black market, what we call as all sorts of difficulties in society and social working. The root is we have given up this truthfulness, and we have given up that the high place we have to allot it to it in our life, and we are paying very heavily for that one. Sri Ramakrishna stressed this truthfulness coming to our life. This one we must practice. Along with our education, he does not ask you not to go to college or school, or not to go to the technological institutions, or become an IT engineer, or go to America, or go to Japan. He never say no. Wherever you go, whatever you do, don't give up truthfulness. Always look on the whole world as your own brothers and sisters. What we call as purity. Purity of the mind is think of all as your own. When we think that people are our own, we never think bad things about them. We never become selfish to exploit them. idea of exploitation goes, idea of thinking low about them other goes. When we think, all belong to us. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, this whole world is your own. Think of all men and women as your brothers and sisters, as your fathers and mothers. You will see your mind become very pure. This purity is required. When this purity is there, Sri Ramakrishna said this is one of the qualities you require to become a spiritual man. But we know, even in our society, it will be 100 times better if this value comes into the life of our people, especially the youngsters. The youngsters, if they can think all the men and women as their own brothers and sisters, 80% of the problems in our society would be off. 80% of our trouble in our colleges would be off. Sri Ramakrishna puts it in such a simple way. This purity must come into us. He says selflessness must come into us. Faith must come into us. Faith in God. Faith in God, Swami Vivekananda put it other way. Faith in God and faith in yourself is the same. So he put it in another way. In olden times, people said, he that does not believe in God was called an atheist. I tell, he that does not believe in himself is an atheist. Because himself means ours, this Atma inside. And the Paramatma, they are not two different things. Sri Ramakrishna says, God realization, that is self-realization. So if this self-realization should come to us, we must have faith that we are that. We have forgotten it. It's a question of remembering what we have forgotten. So Sri Ramakrishna again, and Swami Vivekananda made it a very strong point. He said, can you make a peasant or a fisherman realize Atman? Swami Vivekananda asked a counter question. What is there very difficult for a peasant or a fisherman to realize Atman? He is already that Atman, he has only forgotten that. You have to make him realize that it is a forgetfulness. Awaken him. He is already Atman. Fisherman is an Atman. The peasant is an Atman. The wretched person on the street is an Atman. And as everybody has behind him this Atman, we have forgotten. You have to awaken him. So Sri Ramakrishna opened the floodgate. He said, have faith and prayer. You will progress in spiritual life and become the inheritor of this infinite joy, infinite bliss and infinite life. So character, or cultivating these values, is the real religion. So Sri Ramakrishna was so practical. He said, you can be in any profession, you can be in any ashrama, any level in the society, but along with your worldly duties, never forget the spiritual values of truthfulness, of purity, of selflessness, of faith and prayer. Let it be in your life. Along with that one, you be an engineer, be a doctor. Wherever you are with these values, you will be the best engineer, you will be the best doctor. Many times I say, India has got the third greatest force in scientists and doctors, India. But we are called a developing country or an underdeveloped country. Why? Because we have doctors, but how many of them are good doctors? We have scientists and engineers. How many of them good engineers, good doctors? This qualification of good comes to us when values come into our life. Sri Ramakrishna has given these values, practicing himself. Anybody who looks at the form of Sri Ramakrishna in the form of the image in the temple or in his picture, the first thing you feel is, here is a person whose teachings, if I follow, I can certainly become better. I can certainly realize God. He has brought this idea that religion should be practiced, it can be practiced, and if anyone practices, I am there behind you to help you. Sri Ramakrishna is the person who declared, whoever has called on God even once sincerely must come here, must come to Sri Ramakrishna. We are seeing this fact. People go here, there, everywhere for religion, but after going everywhere, they come to Sri Ramakrishna. Sir, we went there, we did not find. There we went, we are not satisfied. Third place, we were cheated. Here we are coming for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Ramakrishna has given us the real teaching that is required, that you have to live these values and enjoy the spiritual benefits yourself. Sri Ramakrishna did this. That is why he said for spiritual life, no other worldly qualifications are required. We need not have money. You did not have qualifications. You did not have go to universities or so. Many times some people, parents come to me and then they show their boy or girl who have appeared in class 12. Swami, bless him that he should get 95% mark. I said, what for? He should get a seat in the engineering college or in something else. Therefore, you please bless him. I tell them, I bless him and I also invoke the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna. Let him get 95%. Suppose he does not get 95% also, my blessing and Sri Ramakrishna's blessing will be with him. Sri Ramakrishna never asked you to get 95% mark. If you didn't go to him without any percentage, without going to any school also, he would welcome you. He welcomed you all, remember, Latu Maharaj, who never did know even A, B, C, D, I, E also he could not practice. Latu Maharaj became one of the wisest people, and Swami Vivekananda called him Plato. This shepherd boy became a saint of the highest order. Sri Ramakrishna has shown to become spiritual. You don't require any worldly qualifications. If you once know that we have got this potentiality in us, that we can become the inheritors of this highest joy, highest bliss, eternal life, we never think of committing suicide. We never think of immolating ourselves and never think of throwing away our human life, which is such a valuable gift God has given. All this will go if we can come to Sri Ramakrishna. I will tell Sri Ramakrishna's insistence that spirituality is to be lived. He just tells us a story. I never tire of telling the story. Perhaps you yourself might have heard from me several times before. A big Pandit was there. He was a great scholar in the Shad Darshanas, Sankhya, Yoga, Patanjala, etc., etc. So all this, he has read the Shastras. So he went into a boat. He wants to show himself off that he is a great Pandit. So there are so many people sitting in the boat. As soon as he went directly to the helmsman, who is just taking the boat on the Ganga. So he went and asked loudly so that all people should hear, "Do you know Sankhya?" Then he said, "Sankhya, I have never heard that name." "Oh, you don't know about Sankhya? Your 1/4 of life is waste," he said. And then afterwards he asked, "Do you know yoga?" He said, "Sir, I have already told you I do not know Sankhya, I do not know yoga also. Another 1/4 of your life is gone." Third time, "Do you know Mimamsa?" Again he said no. So another 1/4 of life. That means 3/4 of life is gone. So all people are observing what is this fellow, what is the conclusion he is going to come. In the meanwhile, there was a tempest on Ganga. The boat started wobbling here and there. It was about to get drowned. Then the boatman reverse asked the question, "Sir, do you know swimming?" He said, "No, I do not know." "Your whole life will go," he said. "My 3/4 of life was about to go, but nothing goes. Your whole life will go if you do not know swimming." Sri Ramakrishna compared the swimming over the ocean of life to spirituality, to realization of God, to cultivation of the spiritual values. So, this is the great message of Sri Ramakrishna. Oh man, you are spiritual. You are potentially an inheritor for the greatest joy, greatest bliss, greatest power, greatest knowledge, eternal love. So never lose it. Use it to the best use. One Huston Smith in 1948 published a book called The Religions of the World. Huston Smith, an American. Even now that book is very popular. And he stars these religions of the world. There is the important teachings of all the major religions of the world. It is a big book. First thing he starts with a statement of Sri Ramakrishna. One can realize God by many ways. Just as a man can climb up to the roof of a building by a rope or by a staircase or by ladder or by a concrete stair. So also there are so many ways to reach God. He starts this Religions of the World book, an American, with the statement of Sri Ramakrishna. And the first religion he deals among all the major religions is Hinduism. This is the glory of this great religion, and this is the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. He has made known to the world the greatness of our country. That is why Swamiji said, we have got this greatest treasure of spirituality with us. With this we shall conquer the world. Swamiji's great statement, our India must conquer the world through spirituality. Nothing short of it will please me. So India has to do it. How will she do it? Unless she herself become well versed in this knowledge of spirituality. So where will you get this knowledge of spirituality? We have to go to Sri Ramakrishna, follow his teachings. Each one of us must become spiritual. Whether we are doctors, whether we are scientists, whether IT engineers, whether we are other theoreticians in any other subject, whether you are politicians or economists also, anywhere, we must become spiritual first, and we must carry this wherever we go. We may go as a lecturer, along with it on, spread these values of life. Wherever you go, live truthfully, live selflessly, pray to God, have faith in God. Faith in God and scientific attitude does not clash with one another. We have seen the first director of the National Physical Laboratory in Delhi. He was the cousin of Sir C.V. Raman. So he came to our ashrama one day, and then he delivered a lecture on Valmiki Ramayana for 1 hour. He was the director of the National Physical Laboratory, first National Physical Laboratory director, such a great physicist. He could speak on Ramayana for 1 full hour. So it does not, there is no clash, at least in the Indian context. All our Indian people must carry this spirituality with them. This is what exactly the message of Sri Ramakrishna is for us. So Sri Ramakrishna tells us this Avatara Purusha, Swami Vivekananda called him the Avatara Varishtha, the Supreme Incarnation. May Sri Ramakrishna guide us through this right path, the path shown by him, which is the Sanatana Dharma, which has come down to us from we don't know how many millenniums, 5,000 or 10,000 years. There is a continuous flow of this spirituality. We are the inheritors of this great treasure. So let us inherit that one, be proud of that one, try to manifest in our life and show, just like small lamps lighting small houses and the whole country gets lighted. Similarly, each one of us can become spiritual people wherever we are, and by our conduct lead the others also into the spiritual life for which India is famous. On this holy day, I pray to Sri Ramakrishna that he blesses all, that we live the life of spirituality as shown by him. What he has shown is this Sanatana Dharma. So let us all follow this eternal religion of this country and become great ourselves, make our lives fulfilled and blessed, and hold a lamp and light to the world also, and be of help to the world. So with these words, I take leave of you, once again wishing you all the best in the name of Sri Ramakrishna. Niranjanam nityamanantarupam bhaktanukampadhrita vigraham vai Ishāvataram paramesha midyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namāmaha.